Welcome back to We Want Picks. I'm Artem MMA, and I'm going to be breaking down Bellator 295 Stots vs Mix, which is the second of two events held in Hawaii by Bellator this weekend. We've got two title fights across the two events. This is the second one. It's going to be Raufeon Stots taking on Patchy Mix for the 135-pound belt and also the tournament championship as well. It's going to be a pretty good card as well. You've got Ray Borg taking on Kyoji Horiguchi. Aaron Pico was also on the card, and if you go down, you've got UFC veterans such as Kamaka the third on there as well, and Yancy Medeiros as well. It should be a good card. I'm still a mythical predictor. I'm still predicting with my laptop right now, as you guys can tell. I've got my laptop mic and my laptop camera, so it's a little bit lower quality, but I will be home over the next couple of days, so in future I will be back to my normal setup. Before we do get into the picks though, We Want Picks does have the premium membership service. You get access to all of the We Want Picks bets. That's Angelo's bets, that's Jacob's bets, and also I've got a premium page on there which I kind of do my own thing. I write articles about regional promotions, about Bellator, and also about the UFC coming up as well. We've got a Discord as well, which is a great community there. If you want to join the Discord, it should be in the description of this video. But let's not waste too much more time. Let's get straight into the picks. Now, these Bellator prelims are much better than we've had Bellator prelims in the past, but I will still go through them a little bit faster than I will the main card prediction. So the first fight of the night is Alexey Shurkevich taking on Masayuki Kikuiri. I'm going with Alexey Shurkevich, but I'm not actually that confident. I was watching these guys expecting Alexey Shurkevich to be a wrestler. He's not. He's a striker. He went for one takedown in a fight that lasted 2 rounds against Renato Gomes, and it was a very weak attempt. And Renato Gomes was cracking him with some good shots, and he still didn't go for takedowns anyways. And also, I mean, the fight didn't last very long, but he just kind of knocked out Gracich earlier on as well in his career. He's not fighting the best guys, but once again, he's not really taking them down. He's just knocking them out on the feet. And that's going to help Masayuki Kikuiri in this matchup. Masayuki Kikuiri is kind of like a pure striker, but he kind of is a bit more of a boxer. He's got power in that right hand, man. I've seen this guy knock out people with one shot. He's not really fighting the best competition in the world, but man, like when he knocks people out, he knocks people out, and it's quite brutal. I'm going with Shurkevich here because I do like his more well-rounded skill set on the feet. He has gone for one takedown in the fights that I did watch, so he obviously does have some sort of wrestling in the back pocket if things don't go too well, but it's not a very confident pick for me. I'm going with Shurkevich. I don't believe he trains at this gym, Storm Gym. I believe he actually trains with Alexander Shlemenko at Shlemenko's gym, but I'm going to pick him to beat Masayuki Kikuiri, but it's a no-bet situation for me. I think Kikuiri is a very live underdog in this one here. I don't mind his striking, but I just like Alexey a little bit more. A lot of people are picking Alexey in the matchup as well, which does make sense. He is a somewhat big favorite, minus 180, but I think he gets it done over Kikuiri, probably by knockout. I don't think that fight's going the distance. Ilara Joanne is taking on Bruna Aalon in the next matchup. I'm going with Ilara Joanne. She just fought a very similar matchup to Bruna Aalon in her last fight. And in fact, in my opinion, a better version of Bruna Aalon. She fought Denise Kiholtz, who is also a pure striker because Bruna Aalon isn't really going to go for too many takedowns. She did go for a couple of takedowns in her last fight, but for the most part, she does want the fight on the feet. Denise Kiholtz is also a very good striker. She has power to knock girls out as well. She does have a kickboxing background, and Ilara Joanne was somewhat competitive on the feet, but where she got it done was in the wrestling and grappling. There is an argument the fight goes either way. It just depends if you want to score the grappling over the striking that Kiholtz was doing. She also did beat Alejandra Lara as well. Bruna Aalon is a pure striker with very good takedown defense. I believe she defended 6 or 7 takedowns against Desiree Yanez in that fight there. But aside from that, we just saw her lose to Ilima-Lei McFarlane, who snapped her losing streak there. And Bruna Aalon, I think she is a worse striker than Denise Kiholtz. And I think Ilara Joanne can have success on the feet, and she could also have success in the wrestling, which is what I think she is going to do. I think she is going to go for the wrestling and to grapple with Aalon. So I'm going to go with Joanne by decision, using that wrestling and using that grappling as well. We move on to the third fight of the night. It is Davion Franklin taking on Kasim Aras. Kasim Aras has got a very interesting spot on his record, and I spent way too long trying to find it. This one here. So he was fighting this guy called Mindegos Gurv 3 years ago, And you can see he got disqualification for a chest bite. And when I saw that, I was like, man, like I really want to see like what happened. So pretty much what happened was at the very end of the fight, Mindegos had him in an arm triangle. So Kasim Aras was on bottom, kind of about to get choked out by the arm triangle. It didn't look too in, but what happened was all of a sudden he just let go. His opponent just let go and started complaining about his chest. And it turns out Kasim Aras had bitten him while he was in the arm triangle. So I don't know if you guys really wanted to know that fact, but I thought it was very interesting to bring up. What Kasim Aras does do, though, is he is a wrestler and he does have pretty good grappling ability. He's got a couple of submissions in his career. He's got a couple of ground and pound wins in his career. He's going to want to take this fight to the ground because Davion Franklin is going to be very powerful on the feet. He did knock out Everett Cummings, who was 15-0, but it was probably one of the most padded 15-0 records you've probably ever seen. He's actually knocked out a lot of pretty good guys, especially considering the fact that he's not very experienced. Like, he was 1-0, fighting a 6-4 opponent, 2-0, fighting a 12-9 opponent. I think it was like 3-0 when he fought Everett Cummings. He did lose to Marcelo Golm, who did just lose to, in the main event. I forgot his opponent's name, but, yeah, Marcelo Golm submitted him at the very end of the third round. Franklin just wasn't really able to land that knockout blow, but I think he will land the knockout blow over Kasim Aras. Do I think Davion Franklin should be minus 400, minus 500? You can get him? Not really, but I do think he is going to be able to knock out Kasim Aras. Kasim Aras isn't the biggest guy at heavyweight. I mean, he's 5'9". Apparently, he only weighs 8.8 pounds. I've got Davion Franklin by KO. I think he gets it done probably in the first round, but Kasim Aras could be dangerous if he can get his wrestling going, but I think Franklin does KO him in the first. So I've got Franklin by KO in the first round. Now, as we move up the card, the next three fights are all not very confident picks. The first one is Bobby King over Aalon Cruz. I do believe Bobby King does get it done. I think he's the much more technical striker. He also is from Hawaii. I believe he actually owns a gym in Hawaii as well, so he will be like the home crowd favorite, but that doesn't really influence the pick. What does influence the pick is Aalon Cruz's fights after the UFC. You know, we got KO'd in the first round twice in the UFC, but after the UFC he has looked pretty good. Over Matt Mooney looks pretty good, but then this fight against Charles Cheeks was so much smaller than him, and Aalon Cruz was trying to out-wrestle him. He couldn't really. Cheeks got up easily. He even got it like his own wrestling sort of thing going on as well in that matchup, and then when Aalon Cruz couldn't wrestle him, Aalon Cruz just started throwing everything at him. He was throwing combinations, he was throwing flying knees, and it wasn't very technical. His boxing was not very technical at all when he was trying to throw down with Charles Cheeks, and I know he did end up getting the KO blow, and he ended up getting the KO blow early on in the Matt Mooney fight, did it in the first rounds, but he's not as technical as Bobby King. Bobby King, he's got a Muay Thai sort of striking style. He does like to keep the fight on the feet. So Aalon Cruz, if anyone wants to take it to the ground, it might be Aalon Cruz trying to wrestle with Bobby King. But even then, I think Bobby King could probably outmuscle Aalon Cruz in this matchup. I know he is 5'9" to Aalon Cruz, who is 6 foot, but Aalon Cruz does have a much thinner frame than Bobby King. So although it is a very not so confident pick, I do like Bobby King to beat Aalon Cruz here by being the more technical striker, and I like him to win by decision. I feel like if Cruz does beat Bobby King, it probably would be because he landed like a head kick or a flying knee or something crazy. So maybe Cruz could get a highlight reel KO, but I think that Bobby King is going to be the guy that's winning the minutes. I think he's going to be the guy that's winning the rounds, and if he can survive all 3 rounds, I think we can see him win a decision here. So give me Bobby King to defeat Aalon Cruz as a slight underdog in this matchup. The next one is Keoni Diggs taking on Weber Almeida, and this is another not very confident pick, but I am going to be going with Keoni Diggs in this matchup here. He is the slight favorite. I'm not that confident in him to win though, but Weber Almeida, he is like a pure, he's like a karate style pure striker. And he's very low volume. Like, he's got very good leg kicks. He's actually won by TKO by leg kicks. He's got a lot of power in the hands. He's won by KO a lot in his career. But Keoni Diggs, once again, is going to be the minute winner. He's going to be the guy that's throwing more volume. And if anyone wanted to get takedowns, it probably would be on the Keoni Diggs side. Weber Almeida, he does train with Lyoto Machida. He is a prospect out of there. But he's not a young, up-and-coming guy himself. He's 35 years old. He had a pretty close fight with Ryan Lilly, mainly just because he just didn't throw enough volume. And I think that is going to be an issue in this matchup. I think Keoni Diggs is going to be throwing more volume than Weber Almeida. I think he's going to be a lot bigger than Weber Almeida as well. If he can get this weight cut to 145, really good. He is going to be bigger than Weber Almeida, because Weber Almeida is not really that big for 145, and Keoni Diggs, I didn't think he was that undersized at 155 when I was watching his fights at lightweight. So he has fought at 145 before. He lost to Daniel Weichel. He went back up to 155 to fight Bobby King and Ricardo Seixas, and now he's going back down to 145 for the second time in his entire career. So he's never really been undersized at 155, but if he can cut down to 145, I don't really see why not. And I like Diggs to beat Almeida in this matchup. A lot of people aren't really on the Almeida side. I think if Almeida wins, it's by KO. I don't think he would win a decision over Keoni Diggs, because Keoni Diggs will be throwing more volume than Weber Almeida, who is a very low volume karate striker who does manage his distance very well, but Keoni Diggs, I think, could close the distance and maybe even wrestle. If he really wanted to, he probably could wrestle in the matchup. And now we move on up the card. Sumiko Inaba taking on Veta Arteaga. I'm going with Sumiko Inaba. This is probably my least confident pick out of those three. I don't really like Sumiko Inaba too much in the matchup, but after watching the fights, I do think she can get it done, because she does have a very well-rounded style, but she does like to get the fight on the ground and control on top, and also throw up ground and pound and submissions. I mean, she did submit Randy Field, which has aged somewhat well since Randy Field's won a couple of fights since then in Bellator, but then, she's beaten two girls with losing records. Bellator obviously just trying to build her up a little bit, and now they're giving her Veta Arteaga, who's actually ranked very highly in the Bellator rankings. I believe she's in the top 7 at Bellator right now, so this is a big step up in competition for Sumiko Inaba. But she is Bellator's A side. I believe she's from Hawaii. I believe she's had her whole career in Bellator as well. Veta Arteaga is going to be dangerous, though. She's got a couple of guillotine wins, especially one recently against Vanessa Porto. So Sumiko Inaba, when she is shooting for those takedowns, she's going to have to be careful. But I think what Sumiko Inaba should be able to do is take down Veta Arteaga and control on top and also on the feet. I think it should be pretty close as well. But the problem is with me and Sumiko Inaba, our last opponent had a 2-5 record, and Inaba just made it too close. Like, she just made it way too close. Veta Arteaga would probably have finished that opponent. So I'm going with Sumiko Inaba by decision, but it's a rough one, man. Everyone, like 91% are on the Inaba side. It's women's MMA. I'm pretty bad at predicting women's MMA, and I know everyone, like, Bellator probably wants Inaba to win, but even then, like, Veta Arteaga has beaten much better competition. She's fought much better competition as well. Vanessa Porto is 23-9 and fought everyone. Desiree Yanez was 5-7, 5-2 at the time, 8-3. Ilima-Lei McFarlane was 9-0 at the time, so it's just kind of one of those fights where it's like, Inaba is obviously kind of probably been the one that Bellator wants to win, but Arteaga really could win as well. I've got Inaba, though. I think she should be able to get it done. So now we move up the card. You've got Kamaka III taking on Adli Edwards, and I do like Kamaka III to win this matchup. He was from Hawaii, and he's going to be fighting in Hawaii, so he's going to have the home crowd advantage here. But Adli Edwards, I believe he took on Aaron Pico on short notice, so he did miss weight because of that, and he did kind of get beaten up pretty badly by Aaron Pico in that one. Pico just looked really, really good, but, Adli Edwards before that, he was coming off a pretty good win over Josh Harvey in the first round at XMA, which is a promotion I am a big fan of. They put on great fights, but I do like Kamaka III here. He's going to want to keep the fight on the feet because Adli Edwards might want to take it to the ground, but on the feet, Kamaka III is very fast. You could argue that he did beat Justin Gonzales. I picked him to beat Justin Gonzales. I do think Justin Gonzales won, looking back at it, because Gonzales was landing more volume, but it was a close fight. It really was a close fight. You can understand why someone would score it for Kamaka, but he come back. He won by KO over Kevin Bohm. I don't think he's going to be able to knock out Adli Edwards here, though. Kamaka III, he is a guy that has very close fights. In the UFC against TJ Brown, you could argue probably should have won that fight. And then in the Danny Chavez fight as well, you probably should argue he could have won that fight too. He just kind of ends up having close fights. I think this one here, it's going to be another close one. But I think Kamaka III is the better striker. If he can keep it on the feet, he should be able to have a lot of success. He did defend a couple of takedowns against Justin Gonzales, who isn't really the best wrestler in the world. but it is kind of a good fight to see that he can defend takedowns against guys in Bellator. I think he should be able to defend Adli Edwards' takedowns if he goes for any, which he probably will, and keep the fight on the feet where he is the better striker. He's very fast on the feet as well. He's only 28 years old, so he's still going to be up and coming and improving, whereas Adli Edwards, he's almost 34, and now he's finally made it to the big show where Kamaka III has been fighting in big promotions for quite a while now because he was in the UFC quite a few years ago. So I'm going to go with Kamaka III to win the decision. He is the slight favourite here, minus 195. I do think he gets it done. We move on up the card to Mads Burnell taking on Justin Gonzales. So Justin Gonzales and Kamaka III obviously have fought each other before, but Justin Gonzales is now stepping up in a big way, honestly, stepping up to Mads Burnell, who is a very good fighter. He didn't look that great against Pedro Carvalho. I picked Pedro Carvalho to win that fight. A lot of people that watch my videos did not like that Pedro Carvalho pick, but I made it anyway, and hey, it looks pretty good, didn't it? Pedro Carvalho almost finished Mads Burnell in the third round, but Burnell was shooting a lot of takedowns, and he wasn't getting all of those takedowns either, so he kind of gassed out a bit, and Carvalho was tired too, but yeah, it was a very high-paced kind of fight because Burnell was going for so many takedowns, and when he does chain wrestle or go for takedowns consistently against someone like Justin Gonzales, I think he's going to be able to get them. I do think Burnell will be able to take down Justin Gonzales and win this matchup. I think he should be able to beat Gonzales here. I haven't been the best at picking Gonzales' fights because I did pick Kamaka III to beat him, but I think that Mads Burnell should be able to beat Justin Gonzales here. I've had a pretty good pick rate with Mads Burnell. I mean, I picked Pedro Carvalho to win as an underdog there, and that wasn't a very popular pick. But I think Burnell takes down Gonzales here. I think he should be able to beat Justin Gonzales. I think Gonzales is going to want to keep it on the feet. I think if it is on the feet, he probably will be the better striker. But I like Burnell's ability to take down Gonzales. How many times did I take down Gonzales in that couple of minutes? Probably too much. But let's move on. You got Yancy Medeiros taking on Charlie Leary, and Yancy Medeiros snapped a pretty big losing streak. You know, he had a pretty bad run in the UFC towards the end of his UFC career, and then he come back in Bellator and he beat Emmanuel Sanchez, and that's a pretty good win. And in my opinion, that's probably a better win than Charlie Leary. You know, Charlie Leary's been in Bellator for a long time. He's fought in the UK cards in Bellator for a long time. His last fight was against Soren Beck, who is a very good fighter, and you know, he's got very good wins himself, but he got KO'd by Davey Gallen, the guy that, Rolling Thundered Ross Pearson into retirement, which is absolutely insane. But I like Yancy Medeiros to beat Charlie Leary. Yancy Medeiros is from Hawaii. He's going to be the guy that is going to be cheered. He's also the younger guy in the matchup as well, which isn't probably something that Medeiros is going to have an advantage over for a lot of opponents because he is 36 years old himself, or almost 36 years old himself. I think he beats Charlie Leary. I think he beats him by decision, probably in a similar manner than he did Emmanuel Sanchez, probably mixing all of his skill set there. I like him to beat Charlie Leary. Charlie Leary hasn't looked good in a long time. The last time he won was over Keith Crosby, which was 2.5 years ago. He's 40 years old. I mean, Yancy Medeiros is still only 35. He's still got time to make improvements in his game, whereas Charlie Leary is 40. He's kind of on the end of his career. So I like Yancy Medeiros to win this matchup. I think he gets it done. So now we've got Ray Borg taking on Kyoji Horiguchi, and I am pretty confident in Kyoji Horiguchi to win this matchup here. Ray Borg, you know, he was in the UFC, he fought for a title in the UFC against Demetrius Johnson, and yeah, he did get cut off one loss to Ricky Simone, but it probably was because he was pulling out of a lot of fights, and I think eventually it just was a little bit too difficult for the UFC to kind of match him up, and like, you know, he's just a little bit unreliable. But Eagle FC ended up picking him up after a win over UAE Warriors. He beat Cody Gibson, former UFC fighter, and Ricky Bandejas, former Bellator fighter. But that Ricky Bandejas fight was way too close, man. Ricky Bandejas was actually cut from Bellator because he was he'd lost a couple of fights, and he had a very close fight with Ray Borg. You could argue that Ricky Bandejas won that fight, and Kyoji Horiguchi's coming off that win over Hiromasa Ojikubo, which was a weird fight because I believe it was actually their third time fighting, and Kyoji Horiguchi was 2-0 in that trilogy. It was a weird matchup that the Rise and Bellator card did make, but obviously Kyoji Horiguchi did manage to get it done there. He's got the win on his record. He did fight in Ryzen as well prior, but because Ryzen and Bellator do have a pretty good relationship, he lost to Patchy Mitch, who's going to be now in the title fight against Raufeon Stots. Sorry. He lost to Sochi Pettis in a fight that he was winning for the title as well. I like Kyoji Horiguchi. This guy's been fighting better guys recently. He's been looking better against these people recently. Ray Borg, that close fight with Ricky Banderas. If he can get it done over Kyoji Horiguchi, he's probably pretty close to the title himself, honestly. But I do believe Kyoji Horiguchi will be able to get this one done. It is at flyweight as well, which is not really something that Ray Borg can make. I mean, Ray Borg's missed weight a lot in the past at flyweight, so it'll be interesting to see if he can make that weight class, but I think he should be able to. I think he should be pretty good, but I really do like Kyoji Horiguchi in this matchup, especially at flyweight as well. So I think he should be able to outlast Ray Borg. Ray Borg has struggled to make 125 quite a bit in his career in the past, so yeah, give me Kyoji Horiguchi to win a decision in this matchup. We move on. Aaron Pico taking on James Gonzales, and James Gonzales, man, I still regret not doing this. I said in the Cody Law fight that I would not be surprised if James Gonzales got it done, and James Gonzales was like a massive underdog. It would have been the biggest underdog pick ever on my channel, but unfortunately I didn't pick James Gonzales to beat Cody Law, but the reason was because Cody Law at that time had not fought anyone that good, and James Gonzales, you look at his career, he's actually fought and lost to some really good competition on the regional scene, and now that he's in Bellator, he's on a 2-fight win streak because he looks greater against Cody Law. He beat him by decision, and then he won on PFL as well. Now he's taking on Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico is that guy that Bellator pushed way too hard, in my opinion. I think Aaron Pico, if Bellator played their cards right, Aaron Pico would be 14-0. Because if you look at Aaron Pico's career, he's got this crazy kickboxing background, he's got this crazy pancrase background, he's got this crazy wrestling background. Look at all these things that he's got going on here. So much boxing experience as well at a young age, like multiple time champion in boxing and just other things like that. It's crazy. Like, he was meant to be like their big prospect, and then he made his debut, his pro debut against an 8-2 opponent, you know, and then he was 4-1, and they gave him a 16-3 opponent. Then he's 4-2, and they gave him Adam Borix, who's 12-0 at the time. They just rushed him way too quickly, man, and that is why I think Bellator really fumbled the bag with Aaron Pico's career. And I say that every time I break down one of his fights, because if they played it smart and they just built him up like any other prospect, he would be 14-0. But he is that good. I think Aaron Pico beats James Gonzales, and I think he finishes James Gonzales as well. Aaron Pico's a great striker. He's so aggressive as well. Like, he doesn't really like waste time. he's all in and everything. You know, he can wrestle, he can strike. I believe he is a future champion. He's only 27 years old, but I keep bringing it up, man. Bellator really fumbled his career, but hey, this is a step down in competition for him as well. You know, he just lost to Jeremy Kennedy because he dislocated his shoulder. Hopefully, he's kind of recovered since then. He just beat Adli Edwards, Justin Gonzalez. I think we're going to see him beat James Gonzales in this matchup here. I think he finishes James Gonzales as well by knockout. I don't know about the first round knockout, probably more like a first, second, or third round. I don't think he wins by knockout. I think he gets it done. I think he beats James Gonzales. I think he knocks him out on the feet using his boxing. Maybe he could use his wrestling as well if he wanted to. Should be a good fight, though. Really should be. And now we move on up the card to Ilima-Lei Macfarlane taking on Kana Watanabe in the co-main event. Ilima-Lei Macfarlane was born in Hawaii. This is going to be her home fight, and she's taking on Kana Watanabe, who's fighting out of Japan, and I'm going to go with Kana Watanabe, and the only real reason for that is because Ilima-Lei Macfarlane has not looked very good recently at all. I don't really know what happened. She lost her bout to Juliana Velasquez, and then ever since then, she just kind of fallen off a cliff a little bit. You know, she come back about a year and a bit later, lost to Justine Kish, who's lost to Deanna Bennett twice recently. And then she fought Bruna Aalon, and Bruna Aalon's lower down on this card, but Bruna Aalon, as I said, is pretty one-dimensional as a striker, and she missed weight in that fight by 3 pounds. You know, Bruna Aalon made weight at 125, and Ilima-Lei Macfarlane weighed in at 129. I don't know what's going on with Ilima-Lei Macfarlane at the moment. I don't know if she was injured during those fights. I don't know if she's kind of just stopped training. I genuinely don't really understand what's happening, but Kana Watanabe, she would be undefeated if she didn't run into Liz Carmouche, and Liz Carmouche definitely ran into her. She TKO'd her in 35 seconds. You know, she just got caught really early, and Carmouche just swarmed on her and beat her up. Kanao Watanabe, though, she's very well-rounded. She is a finisher as well. She's got a lot of KOs and submissions on her record. And I think she probably could work in that game against Ilima-Lei McFarlane and maybe be the first person to finish Ilima-Lei McFarlane in this matchup as well. And I wouldn't even be that surprised at this point, honestly. I wouldn't be too surprised if Kanao Watanabe takes down Ilima-Lei McFarlane and gets a submission or even just beats her up on the feet. I just don't know how to feel about Ilima-Lei McFarlane. So this isn't the most confident pick in the world, although I am really down on McFarlane here. It's just, I'm really just on Watanabe because McFarlane's looked really bad recently. Honestly, that's all I can say. And I know it's a very negative breakdown, but it just kind of is the truth. And Ilima-Lei McFarlane just has not looked that good as of recent. But hey, she's fighting in Hawaii. Maybe that's going to give her extra motivation to take on Watanabe, but I'm still going to go with a very slight favorite in Kanao Watanabe. And if Kanao Watanabe wins this fight, she probably would be next to fight Liz Carmouche, who was literally fighting the day before this matchup happens. And now we move on to the main event. I'm going with Patchy Mix, and I've picked against Patchy Mix so many times, and he's proven me wrong so many times. I've picked Raufeon Stots throughout his whole run, and he's made me look pretty smart. But Patchy Mix has made me look like an idiot every single time. And every single time Patchy Mix fights, I always think, man, this guy is big for 135. Because Patchy Mix is massive for 135 pounds. It's crazy. He submitted Magomedov in a fight which he looked incredible in a fight which I picked Magomedov. He also beat Kyoji Horiguchi in a fight which I'm pretty confident I picked Kyoji Horiguchi as well. I mean, he beat James Gallagher, but I don't think I broke down those two fights. But Patchy Mix has made rapid improvements in his career. The Patchy Mix that fought the last two fights is so much different to the Patchy Mix that fought earlier. He's becoming so much better as a fighter. He's fighting out of Jackson Wink as well, as you can see there. Raufeon Stots is a pure wrestler, pretty much, and he is very good at wrestling, and that one loss was the spinning back fist KO to Merab. And if he beat Merab, he probably would be signed to the UFC, because that was on Dana White's looking for a fight, but you know, he's on a win streak. He just beat Danny Sabatello. They obviously had a bit of a heated build-up in that fight. It was a weird split decision. I mean, it was mostly a wrestling fight. It wasn't very exciting. He did KO one Chuleta, which is good, but the way that Raufeon Stots likes to fight is he likes to wrestle and hold you down. Patchy Mix I don't think is going to let that happen. I do believe Stots is the better wrestler in this matchup, but Patchy Mix, I just said it before, but he is so big for 135 pounds, and he's not that bad of a wrestler himself, and he's also a very good grappler in Bellator as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Patchy Mix manage to get a submission at some point, and that actually is my prediction. I am predicting Patchy Mix to win this fight by submission. I think there's going to be a lot of grappling in this matchup. I think Patchy Mix on the feet is going to be dangerous because he's massive for 135 pounds. He's huge for 135 pounds, and I think he beats Raufeon Stots. I think he beats up Raufeon Stots, and I think he ends up getting a submission at some point in the fight. I think maybe Raufeon Stots shoots a takedown. Patchy Mix gets another guillotine. You know, he's got a couple of guillotines recently. I know he guillotined Magomedov. Jesus, there's a fly. He guillotined James Gallagher as well. I like Mix in the matchup, man. He's the underdog as well. I mean, if Stots wins, it's a really good win for Raufeon Stots, but I'm going to go with Patchy Mix in this one here. He is still not even 30 years old. Raufeon Stots is 34 now. I can see Raufeon Stots taking down and controlling Patchy Mix for 5 rounds, but I just don't know if he can do it for 5 rounds. You know, I think Patchy Mix might be able to catch him on the feet. I think Patchy Mix might be able to submit him on the ground as well, even on bottom, because he is a great grappler. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this matchup here. Definitely two of the best bantamweights in the world, regardless of promotion as well. I think Patchy Mix and Raufeon Stots would slot into the top 15 in the UFC. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see this matchup. 19-1 versus 17-1. Like, this is a crazy fight, just records-wise as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I like Patchy Mix to win by submission as an underdog as well. I mean, the fight is lined closely, which makes sense to me, but I do think Patchy Mix is going to get it done. So yeah, give me Patchy Mix by submission. So I've got a couple of dogs on this card, and I always get a little bit nervous when I pick underdogs in Bellator, but it has worked out pretty well for me in the past. So hopefully it works out pretty well again. I am very confident in Kyoji Horiguchi, and also I am very confident in I'm trying to find him, Aaron Pico as well. But yeah, let me know what you think of the card. You know, we've got 2 Bellator cards on this weekend, Bellator 294 and Bellator 295. 294 is on Friday, 295 is going to be on Saturday. And if you've made it this far in the video, obviously do like the video and join the We Want Picks Discord as well. But there's the We Want Picks Discord. I'll link it in the description below, or Angelo will, not me. But yeah, join that. It's a great community going on at We Want Picks. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.